There we go.
There we
Look
go.
at
Hello.
you two. What
I
the
know.
hell? What happened to this guy? Did he fall out of a clothes hamper? What's he doing?
You will like this, Dennis. Jeremy there is Montreal's #1 on-air personality, having won 19 rating books in a row.
Wow.
So,
I can't hardly. And why are you talking to me if you're so goddamn big shot?
Because you're the legend, man. This is so cool.
You're right. You have me confused with James Young.
Ah.
and there is talk that he might replace Terry DeMontigny at Shome. So,
oh God, don't say that. Because
but Terry is Dennis's big friend, longtime friend. So,
yeah, I'm going to. Terry didn't email me. You said it. You emailed me, and I said, "Oh, doggone it!" And then his producer said he wants me to say go Terry, which of course I will. And we
all love Terry.
I found out. Here's what you get to a point in your life. Now that I'm about 29, 30 years old, you get to a point in life. And all these wonderful people, talented people that you've been associated with all these years, of which you're one, Mitchell.
Thank you.
You think, well, although you're on the young side of all this, you think, what are we going to do with all these guys? And here this guy comes in here, Jeremy, with hair that says, you can't tell if I'm going to the left or the right. Yeah, I love you, brother.
It's funny. The hair product I use is actually called Bedhead, so it kind of gives the.
But the good thing is that Jeremy's only 26, and he's on in Montreal and Toronto, so he's a DJ in the #1 and #2 markets in Canada. So
I'm impressed. On the other hand, when I was your age, Jeremy, I was 26.
Right. Yeah. And you were doing a lot bigger things than I was. And I'm doing.
Listen, I know because I've had some success. You think I know something you don't. I just don't. I made all this shit up as I went along and faked people out. And
so did I. That's the secret of success, right? Fake it till you make it.
You got to, because, in this era of everything's fake. And I'm watching the news today, and they're talking about all these videos where women are talking about they shouldn't get the vaccine because their baby will die or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I think to myself, how are we, this is the guy who says too much technology. How are we going to understand what's real anymore when they can fake videos so authentically? It's just so scary. And I'm glad that I'm not 26, although I wish my prostate were, because I don't know how we're going to fare in this world that you're going to face. And both Mitch is not as old as I am. I think he's only 70. Both he and I want to apologize for however we contributed to screwing up this world. Don't we, Mitch?
Yeah. Well, as a Canadian, we contributed much less, but a little bit still.
Oh, you did. You Canadians, until recently, have been so polite. And then I heard a guy the other day on TV say, "Hey, what's going on? Where's all our vaccines?" And they want to, the French are going to blame the English. The English, it's the same old thing, even up there.
Yeah.
No, so that's how it works in Quebec. That's how it works in Quebec. And enough about Quebec. And Jeremy's over on the Mohawk Nation in Kahnawake, and he blames both of them too.
Yeah.
So, what's wrong with people? I mean, here's what the internet and all the connections have given us. Remember when Mark Zuckerberg said his goal was to connect everyone? I said, have you met everyone, you little punk? Now everyone's connected, and we think to ourselves, have human beings always been this stupid and we just didn't know it? And now they can, here's the internet. You know what the internet is? Social media, what it is? It's like, it used to be like in your favorite tavern. That's the kind of talk you'd hear when you went into a tavern. Now everyone's typing it and everyone's reading it. And
they're tweeting it.
Yeah, and with anonymity. Anyway, why am I on this? I'm getting off the soapbox.
Well, No, you bring up a good point. I just saw a thing on Facebook the other day where it was like talking about mental health of kids today. It's like, and it was an older guy that was talking about, back in the day we didn't have this social media. You'd go to a bar and you'd have a conversation with somebody, and whether you agreed or disagreed, at the end you have your little argument, you go your separate ways, and you see each other the next day at the bar, and everything's fine. Now on social media, everybody's just upset about something all the time, and you're not allowed to disagree with anybody. All of a sudden you get attacked. And
you got a point. Can I elaborate on that point?
Yeah,
of course.
Here's what was good about taverns. If you said something egregious, you'd get punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's wrong with the internet. We need fist fights would take care of a lot of this bull. I'm not kidding. If you say something, someone go, if you know you're not going to get punched in the snout,
yeah,
well, then you say crap. But if you know the guy in the bar, it reminds me, my dad told me this story once. He was in a tavern. My dad was like soaking wet, 128, 130 pounds. And he walked into the pit, got drunk, and said, I can take anyone in this bar. And this guy got up, he was like 6'8", hit him right on the top of the head. And my dad said, that's the last time I opened my mouth in a bar. That's what it's all about. If you can't get punished physically for the stupid things you say, I'm going to start a campaign. You and me, Mitch, bring back fist fights. Bring back.
Well, we'll have the New York Rangers sponsor us after last night.
I understand there's a game called hockey. I just don't know what it's all about. Because I went to a hockey game once and I thought I saw the puck. Anyway.
Shall we get to talking about the 26 East Volume 2, which is, well, it's a masterpiece built on a masterpiece. I didn't think you could do much better than Volume 1. And then I heard the song Last Guitar Hero, and I went, well, apparently you can.
Yeah.
Well, listen to me, Jeremy. You don't know this, but I got this dictionary, English into French, and Lafon is actually French for genius. So how am I supposed to argue with him? No. Thank you, everyone. Good night. What more could I add to that? Listen to this. What he said. He called the last album. He sent me an email and said it's a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is, because at the time when he said it, I was going like this. Geez, I hope this doesn't suck. Really, because that's what we go through. And people think, oh, this guy, he just does this. No, I question myself at every turn. I think I'm never good enough. And I got plenty of people who could concur, but nonetheless, I forge on. So
look, turn around. Look at the wall behind you. I think you could be a little bit confident at this point.
Oh, no, don't be ridiculous. That's a green screen. That's a picture of Sting's. Yeah, that's Sting's living room.
Oh, yeah, but I've got this playlist here, and I've got East of Midnight in there, Unbroken, Run for the Roses, etc. That and this is still in my phone now. That album, which came out last year, it's not just one of those that you put on when it comes out and go, oh, it's really great, and then 6 months later you go, oh yeah, it was good at the time. No, it's still good a year later.
You've been talking about the album since it came out, even before, and I was like, okay, and I listened to it, and it's absolutely brilliant. And then to go and listen to this record, it's like, well, the Last Guitar Hero is awesome. One of my favorites though is Your Saving Grace, which
Jeremy, wait a minute, stop. Don't say another word. Here's what I'm going to say to you, Jeremy. I know now why you're so popular, because Jeremy in Slavic is genius as well. You have just picked, now wait a minute, 11 tracks. They're all different. So you're gonna run into a guy in a corner who prefers one over another in terms of style. But the fact that you said that is my favorite song on the record. I'll tell you why. When you're doing stuff, you're not gonna be the A+ guy on 11 tracks. It's hard to do that. But every time I came back to Your Saving Grace and I would be playing it amongst the others, it would make my heart just flip and I'd feel verklempt. There's something about what I'm talking about in that is so fundamentally human. And Jeremy, I'm going to shut up now. I applaud you for picking that one out.
Well, thank you. At first I thought it was about aliens. I'm not gonna lie. and then I got further into the lyrics and more. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here.
What is it about? No, you thought it was aliens, but to my surprise, we climbed aboard their starship. Never mind.
Well, you know,
what do you think it's about?
Well, I just think it's about you sort of connecting, if that makes sense. I think it's about connecting to a greater power in a way, or a greater being. And
Jesus Christ, this kid's smart.
Yeah. 19 rating books in a row. You don't just, that doesn't just happen.
No, because what it is what look at. There's only one question.
Yeah.
Right? For all humans, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because none of us know why. And a lot of my songs, not a lot, two of my other songs I had, Show Me the Way, Hello God. And essentially, what we all want to know is why? What are we supposed to believe? Because we don't know, because, human beings, they can't possibly know, because it's beyond their comprehension. When people tell us, like I talk about in the Isle of Misanthrope, when time can be a continuum and theoretically everything, come on, we're humans, we just want pizza. So when they come up with these theories, but in this song, I'm saying, I want a higher power to save me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Your saving grace is, it's the desire to know something that will help us understand our place in the universe.
Mm. Yeah.
Let me just quickly ask you about Volume 2. Were these songs written at the same time as Volume 1? And you sort of said, okay, these 10 go on the first one, these 10 go on the second one, or did these ones come after in another spurt of writing where you just went, wow, that was good, let me try these now? What was the process?
Jim and I, Peterick, when we got together, we didn't know if our writing partnership would bear fruit. So we love each other so much and respect each other and are of perfect age. There is no real competition between us, which is, we just want the thing to be better, which is what groups successful. When everyone wants the thing to be better than their own personal success, when all boats rise with the tide, that's what makes groups wonderful. When one or the two of the guys think, I can be this, I don't need that, that's when trouble brews. So we had that going for us. We wrote 17 songs, of which I wrote half, and half we wrote together. So 7 of these songs, Mitch, were already written and recorded for the most part, and mixed, because I didn't know which songs would get on one, because I only thought there was going to be one. So I had in my mind, okay, turn the record into Serafino at Frontiers. He said, I want them all.
Good. He should.
Okay,
yeah, smart man.
We'll make a volume 2. And I said, is there lira involved? And he said there was. I said, well, hey, look, I spent the money already myself, overspent, to do all these songs, because I was fearful, which is why I didn't want to make an album anymore, that I couldn't write songs that mattered. And if I can't, I can still sing. You've heard me. Everybody knows that. Yeah. But it's the song. If I can't write something that maybe you go, this guy, yeah, he wrote good stuff in 1977. We just hate him now. I didn't want to have that happen to me. So we had all these songs. Volume 2, I had 4 to complete to make what I thought would be a complete Volume 2. All the while thinking, you can't front load one, Mitch, and then have to be a piece of, not even, it's never going to be crap with me, but at least be go, yeah, it's okay.
Well, not crap, but tired, where you go to the first one, you go, it sort of ran out of steam.
Or, it's all just filler, or the B-sides that, that weren't good enough to be on one. But everything on Volume 2 is, if not better than Volume 1. So
yeah, I know. And I sound bad saying that. It's like I'm insulting Volume 1, but this one kicks ass.
I mean, give credit where credit's due,
Let me just say, so you mentioned the voice real quick. Let me just ask you about that, because we know a lot of stars that started in the 70s and 80s, and they've gotten now, and they sang real high back then, and they have to detune or downtune, and then their voice. I would suggest that your voice is as good or better. Was there anything special going on there? Is it just good genetics? Did you train in a sense where honey? You're like, how did you maintain it?
I didn't do drugs, and it wasn't
That helps. That helps.
Smoked, so that gives you a leg up,
right?
And when I was in my 50s and my 40s, even, I had a certain sense of being older always in my life, because, like I told you, Mitch, before I had a record deal, I had a wife and a daughter. So right. It makes you. If that hadn't happened to me, I probably would have been a maniac.
Right.
But when you have the responsibilities, you take them seriously. So I really knew I'd gotten lucky with my voice in that it didn't sound like anybody else, and people seemed to like it. So I respected it, and I wouldn't scream, and I wouldn't abuse it. So that's part of it. But I think dumb, stupid luck is also part of the equation. That
and nothing, no nodes, no vocal surgery, just dumb luck.
Yeah, we never say the end ever in a conversation. But no, I just respected it and got lucky. And so I hope it continues. But having said that, it's really about the songs. You got to have new songs. So when I did this album, I wrote Isle of Misanthrope, of course, the Quarantine, Sing Quarantine, Always Time, and what was the other one? What are you, nuts, you stupid?
Made for Each Other, Proof of Heaven, no, There's No Turning Back Time, So Little Did We Know.
Little Did We Know.
There we go.
Because those lyrics are really about the pandemic. Those three. They're like, you live through it, I'm writing songs, I'm going to try not to say the word pandemic, and I don't. But the idea that St. Quarantine, it made me laugh when I came up with the idea, only because as a failed Catholic at this point in my life, you would have patron saints you could pray to. And I actually, on the Man of Miracles album, 1974, I wrote a song called Christopher, Mr. Christopher.
Right.
Which was about the idea. That's when the Catholics yanked St. Christopher's his sainthood away from him. And it was a song about a nun who had made St. Christopher her patron saint and told him all her fears, lies, everything, confessed to him. And then the Catholics said, not a saint. So it was her dilemma, which is always I have an underlying thing about religion. And so St. Quarantine was us going, we pray to you, St. Quarantine, this guy, right? He said, oh, yeah, we know you're going to get us through this. And at the very end, when the music changes, he's saying, hey, Q, I'm not calling you St. Quarantine. You're just Q to me now. From now on, you're nothing because you're not doing anything. So that was the point of the song. And my wife, I almost kept it off the album, but my wife kept saying, I love that song. And I said, well, why? So, this is what you go through. Why? Why do you like that song?
So the wife is the committee. What makes it her gets tossed on the album?
She's beautiful and she can cook. So I got to listen.
There you go.
Jeremy, you're 26?
26.
Yeah, I still like a little slap and tickle. So I pay attention.
See, yeah. The albums were named after you, Jeremy. 26 East.
Yeah.
There you go. And it's coming out on June 11th. My birthday's June 12th. So it's almost like your birthday gift to me.
It is. It really is.
I thought about you when I did that.
Dennis, let me ask you, for me growing up, I was exposed and discovered your music by listening to the radio in Montreal, listening to Terry DeMonte on Show 'em in the morning. Every morning they'd be playing the Stick stuff and Dennis DeYoung. And, talk about what it's like being in the music biz now. Because obviously back in the day, radio was an important piece, but now you got so many places for music to be discovered or be completely unnoticed. Is it still viable to be putting out a record, or are you just simply doing it for the fun of it?
Absolutely not. There's no fun of it. I don't get any fun out of doing that. That's work. That's a job.
Yeah.
Constantly challenge yourself to be good. To me, that's not fun. That's just work. And, I do it because that's what I've chosen to do.
Yeah.
But the music business, I just did a Facebook post. All you people listening, go to my Facebook. I write everything, and it's pretty funny. I'm talking about the music business. The radio was everything to people of my generation. And here's what the radio provided. It didn't make you a slave to the internet, like a blind man in a darkened room where you got to search everywhere for the door handle to find a song you might like. There is no editor on the internet when it comes to music. It's a free-for-all. It's Wild West. Everybody who has a device thinks they're a musician, can be one because they can upload it. Boom. Here's what radio used to provide. There was an editor. They would get all these records and they would go, I don't know, that's awful. Now, did they make mistakes? My career is a litany of them making mistakes. We've had at least 3 songs that became hits after they were originally released, including Equinox in the States, Mitch. Equinox only sold 350,000 when it was released. It was big stuff up in Canada, but not in the States. And now it's like 2.7 million. So mistakes get made by record companies. They get made by radio stations, but they edited. They made it so, okay, you don't have to do all the work and be inundated by tens of millions of pieces of music to sort through. This is what radio's advantage was. You'll be in your car eating a hot dog, whatever, going over by there, as they say in Chicago, and you hear a song, you go, yeah, I like that. And then you'd go and buy it, okay? Because they said, here's your playlist. Now people always say, playlist is short. Well, now the playlist is so big, how does anybody ever have the time in their lives, the pandemic notwithstanding, to do all that research? So I just think that's the value of radio. It has abrogated. Is that the right word? They've given up to the idea of being the arbiter of taste. They just have, and particularly with rock music. As I say in The Last Guitar Hero, Mitch.
Yeah, great song.
You're the last guitar hero. Why should anybody care? The last guitar hero with pretty pop stars everywhere. So we know the whole music business is shifted away from rock and particularly radio and gone toward pop music and rap music. Those are the 2 countries in there in the States.
Yeah.
So
hey, listen, Jeremy's the proof. He's top 40, right? I mean,
I work on the pop station, and I'm constantly battling to try to get a little bit of electric guitar on and the as far as they'll go with electric guitar on pop radio is something that's like a countryish lick. We play a song called Mood by 24K Golden. That's like one of the big pop songs right now, and it's got this clean countryish like brown now, brown 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 now, brown now. And it's super country, but you won't hear an electric, distorted guitar. Somebody like Shawn Mendes comes out with an electric riff in the song. Pop radio's not touching it. Then they'll get pressure from fans. Fans saying, "Well, why aren't you playing the new Shawn Mendes?" Oh, well, it doesn't fit our format. This and that. Everything's got to be on brand. But they're so afraid of taking chances and still being the tastemakers that we miss out on so much good music.
Lean in here, Jeremy. I'll tell you a little secret.
Go ahead.
Even back when radio really mattered, it was everything to everyone. Rock bands had real problems trying to get on top 40 radio. And the same excuses were made about, oh, that's going to scare people, that electric guitar. True, rock songs would rarely get into the top 10. So this was a dilemma, but we didn't care that much because we had FM radio, which played crap out of all that stuff. So we had balance. So we didn't all have to worry about getting on the top 40. But that's always been there. But now, show them how much new music does show them play. I don't even know if they play any. So many of the rock stations are just classic. And for the pitiful amount of new music rock stations, it's meaningless. So I'll tell you, here's a reason. Like for when I first did Lady, JY and I came together in 1970. He's the hard rock guy. He doesn't like ballads, never written one, doesn't care. He's that guy. Okay, I'm the guy that goes, I like melody, I like chords, I like to sing. I'm a singer. When we got together and I wrote Lady, there you go. Wait, let me get it. Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling. That song. I had never written songs. I said at the piano, I said, gee, that doesn't sound so bad. So, and when we got in the room, we started playing Lady in the Morning and all the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's really arrangement of that song because of JY, his hard rock sensibilities, and my melodicism came together and created the Styx sound.
Right.
Okay. Couldn't get on the radio. First time it was released, it was a stiff everywhere, Mitch.
Right.
Nobody.
Wow.
You know what they used to say in 1972, 3 when it was released? It doesn't fit into any format. It starts out like the Hollies and ends up like Led Zeppelin. They don't have a format for that, right? But you know who the real format is? Your listeners.
Right.
They're not. They don't have to worry about advertisers. That's what your bosses do at radio stations. Oh, how do we get to this person to sell them that can of junk? This is what they do.
Yeah.
Radio stations.
That's what it is.
They only exist. Okay. They use music as the come on, right?
Yeah.
To get people to buy wash machines or beer or whatever. That's what they are. And so they're worried about demographics. They're worried about brands. They're not even the music. Who cares as long as we can get advertisers? Am I wrong?
No, you're not. You're
not wrong.
100% right. And
by the way,
we're talking about showmen playing new music. The only time that they will play new bands is if they have to meet a CanCon quota, or if they're going to play somebody like Greta Van Fleet, who's like trending online. Oh, they're the new Zeppelin. Like there's always some sort of shtick or some sort of gimmick that comes along with playing the new rock stuff. Do you think Gene Simmons has been in the press lately a lot for saying that rock is dead? Do you think rock is dead, Dennis?
We've talked about it, me and him. Here's what I would say. It's dead as a radio format, which means the way of doing business. Let's understand something, guys. We have a product to sell, we musicians. The way we get to continue to make new music is if somebody buys that stuff, then the record company gives you money to do the next one. This is not, I don't have an easel. I'm not in a studio in a loft in Paris doing art. This is commerce. If you don't sell enough records, you don't get a chance to make another one. Wake up! All you people who write in the rock press, you're imbeciles. When they say, oh, this rock band is the deal, they're rebelling against the man. You know what I say? They are the man.
Yes.
Bands sign contracts with multinational corporations, and the first thing they decide is how much money do they get for everything they sell. Now, that doesn't mean the musicians are pure capitalists, but they know how the game is played. The game is money has to be made in order for the train to stay on the track. And there's nothing wrong with that. This idea that somehow they always conflate the idea, oh, that's just corporate rock, or that's just commercialism. You think somebody sitting in a room, a band is going, let's be this or that? Those are definitions to denigrate the music that these jackwagons don't care for. And so they're going to pick up these other things that nobody likes and elevate them. It's crap. It's insanity. But we have a business here. And now, let me tell you, if Shom tomorrow could get a 50 rating, all right, on their Cume, right?
Mm-hmm.
By playing new rock music, you think they would be doing it? You're damn right they would. So the audience itself has moved on from rock music. They just have, because radio stations are businesses. And so they play pop music and all the little girls dancing around and the guys and whatever it is, repeating the same 4 notes 2,500 times so you can remember it. I got it.
Yeah.
People are listening. So you can't make people like what they don't care for. And I think at some point people rock. Mitch, how long has rock lasted? From 1954 or so till now? It's been worn out. People have treaded those chords and tried to, stir it 70,000 different ways. Maybe the audience just said, it's my parents like that music.
But they've never done it as well as 26 East Volume 2.
Yeah, you got me off my soapbox, Mitch, because I start talking and I think I need. Can I get some Xanax down here, please?
I want to ask you before we run out of time. The cover is inspired by, of course, Meet the Beatles, which came out years and years ago. Was it that just you wanted to have a visual sort of homage to the Beatles, or is Meet the Beatles, the album, uniquely special and significant to you?
No, never bought it. How about that? No.
Wow.
Here's what it is. Volume 2, we started out, Hugh Gilmore and I, who made the first one with the locomotives. What do we do about this? Well, maybe the locomotives they're in black. Well, maybe, but they see the back of the train. And I thought, I hate this, all of it. I said, well, let's come up with a different concept. And I said, I just played him Hello, Goodbye, which right after Your Saving Grace is my favorite song on the record. I just came down here to do your interview. I play it every morning, Mitch, because it makes me happy. So I play it. So consequently, I said to Gilmore, I says, how about if I wear a turtleneck? I had this picture of me. I said, what do we do? Let's go look at Meet the Beatles. And he just put it together. So I guess it's me saying where it began for me, so shall it end. I always wanted, I did a Facebook page, a post, and there's the picture of them.
I saw that.
And I said, since 2964, I've been trying to sneak into this fucking album cover, and I could, no luck. Ooh, can you say that word here?
Sure, you can. Of course.
Okay,
of course.
So that's it. And I wrote that song. It was for the first album, Mitch.
Yep.
It was B-side when cut one on Volume 1, and then I said, I like that song. Let's hold it for 2. So that's the reason for the cover. Yeah, it's paying homage to the reason. I talked to John Anderson about 2 weeks ago on a video call. He's got this song he's working on, to Feed the Hungry, and I'm probably gonna end up on it, doing something with him, and send him the Beatles song, and he really, he said, whoa, how wonderful, because he knows what I know. And he told me his story about there's no Yes and no John Anderson without them. Gilmore just said the same thing. They met the Beatles in 70 at Abbey Road. And the first thing they told him, there's no us without you. That's it. Anybody who had made a band in the 70s, there is no us without them. So this is my way of saying, there it is. That's why I'm here. Hope you like it. If you don't, IDC, Jeremy. I don't care.
Yep. But we love it. We love it.
Yeah, man. I got to get my hands on the gold LP. So that's something I need to buy. It's gatefold. I was reading it's gatefold. So I'm a sucker for good packaging. So I'm glad that you're doing some good packaging.
Yeah, as it should be.
There's a photo in there on the gatefold of me naked from the ankles down, which is shocking, but nonetheless, I'll do whatever it takes. In fact, Mitch, Jeremy, I saw the success of these girls. I'm considering a breast enhancement.
Yeah, rocking the skirt above the knees and Ariana Grande ponytail.
Yeah, whatever. She can really sing, that kid, and she
can.
Yeah, she can really sing. There's a lot. Listen, these pop stars. There's a lot of them. They're just really good, and they got smart producers. Yeah. Who might have said that's wrong? No, I like a great song.
Yeah. If you were to collab with a modern day pop artist, who would you want to collab with?
I would vote for Post Malone. I think Post and Dennis would be.
Mitch, let him answer. Let him answer.
Jesus.
Is he a pop star?
He can be anything he wants. I think male or female, do I have to make a choice, or
doesn't matter?
Oh my goodness.
Is there anybody that you listen to like today, like you hear on the radio, hop in the car or something, you're like, oh wow, they got a great voice there. I could do a song with them.
I know who I think is the most talented, though I don't know what is Lady Gaga is the most talented of all of them. She's an amazing. She transcends all styles vocally, and she's a good writer. She's an interesting character. But like McCartney, he's out there. I love Paul McCartney. He's my idol.
Yeah.
But now this new album where he's kind of out. He's doing all these things, redoing his album with a contemporary artist.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just think, Paul, you're Paul, and the rest of us aren't. So, but yeah, I think the guy, and I always preferred the first guy to the second when it came to Lady Gaga. And I want to tell you one more thing. As a Queen fan, two things. Let me get this off my chest. Styx was a year before Queen.
Yeah.
We didn't know who Queen was until 1975 in the States. Never heard them. So any similarities are purely accidental. But the Queen song, Lady Gaga. I love Queen. But Gaga, Radio Gaga, that's not on my top 20 list of songs by Queen that I like. But I'm gonna tell you a quick story because there's a radio show.
Yeah.
I said, people always say, Dennis, why'd you write this music? I said, hey, seriously, I wanted to kick Queen's ass. That's what drove me in those days. Them and Aerosmith. But so I remember watching Friday Night Videos, and on comes Bohemian Rhapsody. I never heard it or saw it with that video. And I remember watching it and I go like this, uh-oh. I said, the bar gets any higher than that. I said, uh-oh, now. So here, the good news for Styx was Queen never got to that bar again, ever, in anything they did. It was a masterpiece to remain so. And, I hope Brian May, who's a wonderful guy and player, I hope he has a small shrine to Mike Myers in his house someplace for putting that song in that movie. Because without it, I don't think all that's happened to Queen since would have happened. But it's just the floodgates opened when they had the guys heard don don da da don don.
Yeah. Car.
Well, listen, it ended up being a top 10 song at that time, where 89 or 90 or whatever it was. And it was like, oh,
I think the song's still in the. I think it's still in the top 100 on iTunes. Like ever since the iTunes store started, I'm pretty sure it's still in the top 100.
Yeah.
When you walk through the doors of heaven, you can stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Mike Myers helping, a Canadian, of course.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. I got to wait a minute. Can you see? Can you see that poster?
We can.
Poster.
Oh, the Austin Powers Gold member. Damn right. It's one of my favorite movies ever.
Signed by Mike.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Yes, exactly.
That is, by the way,
Mitch, I just love the quote. He says, Dr. Evil, I used to think you were crazy, but now I can see your nuts. And he's hanging on the ladder looking up at his nuts. And it's just the way he looks at the camera. He breaks the fourth. He looks. He's like, now I can see your nuts. Thank you.
Yeah, he stole that right from Groucho.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
30 Groucho was looking into the camera. Because he's just saying, I'm in on this joke.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm in on.
By the way, Jeremy, you may or may not know this, but one of our friends, Steve Brown, once in a while plays with Dennis.
Oh, right.
He brings that rock and roll guitar crunch of Trickster to the Styx experience.
Yeah, I told him I thought it was shameful that he used an X.
Yes.
So from us, how dare you? I mean, whatever. No, he's a great player, great guy. I played on his most recent record. What it's called?
You did you did a bunch of
Tokyo Motor Fist.
Tokyo Motor. Yeah, I knew it was something to do with driving cars. He came here, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You see that synth over there?
Is that an Oberheim OB8?
That's what it is.
Yeah, it is an 8.
That's where I played the solo.
Oh wow!
Damn.
He stood right here next to me, and he had his entourage guys he's on the band with. They all came. They were in town. And they came and they said, "Will you play a solo on my record?" And I'll say, "How much is involved?" No, I did.
What year did you buy that keyboard?
I think it was 1841. 1980. Most of that early stick stuff, Grand Illusion, Pieces of Eight, that's in storage back there. That was a 4-voice where you had there are 4 oscillators. And for people who don't understand this, it allows you to play 4 separate notes at the same time.
Right.
Synthesizers heretofore were 1 note at a time, all oscillators converging on a note. And then that came out, and it was self-tuning, which was a godsend to everybody who had to worry about if they were on stage, if their synthesizer would go on out of tune. So yeah, that's it. I have 2 of those. That was on the Paradise. That instrument was played on the. Was that on Paradise Theater? I don't know. It was definitely on. Oh yeah, yeah, it was on Paradise Theater because I played that. That's the instrument I played.
Yeah, with the arpeggiated bass line kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, Tommy brought that song in. He played that on Les Paul. Then I said, man, that we were feeling the change. I was feeling the changes in music going toward this European English techno thing that was beginning to happen, right?
Yeah.
In 1980 and 81. And I said, well, let's give it a little bit of a modern flavor. And I came up with that patch, and then Chuck played the bass on it. And that's how that happened for Too Much Time on My Hands, which is listen, does it get better? I have dozens of friends, and the fun never ends as long as I'm buying. I don't know. That's a pretty good line, isn't it?
Yeah.
I got dozens of friends. So so that's what that is over there. But most of the things that Mitch on the synthesizer on these last 2 albums were done on motifs.
Oh wow.
The XSF or the Montage, which is the newest one. And I record everything on. Can you see this stuff?
You don't realize how exciting this is for Jeremy, because he truly is what we call a gear slut in the vernacular.
That's 48 tracks. If you can see this board, that's a Euphonics 2000 board. Now, what the Euphonics is, Jeremy, is it is a digitally controlled analog board. So the reason I think the stuff sounds good sonically was because I used that board to mix, and this radar, which is the very top, in my opinion, digital recorder. It sounds as much like analog as you can get. No Pro Tools for me. I don't like it. No, don't use it.
Wow. So you're literally recalling. You got the big console, and you're literally recalling, like the tracks from the radar.
Yeah, no, it's a board, like the old school, right there.
Yeah. So that's the tape machine.
You see the thing sitting on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a Masterlink, whatever the hell it is. I record everything down to the Masterlink. It's old school.
Yeah, very old school.
Well, it's not old school. Would be going down to tape. I still have my 2-inch tape machine in the back, the Sony APR, but it's
too expensive.
Not even that. It's just
it's too much work too. You just sit there with the razor blade and do the whole thing. Come on.
It's too much work. And the one thing that you find is when you can instantly go back to the beginning of a song to a spot without waiting for the rewind.
Yeah.
I used to say a third of our album budgets were always waiting for the rewind.
Engineer rewinding the reel.
By the way, a great album title. Dennis DeYoung presents Waiting for the Rewind.
Waiting for the Rewind.
Waiting for the Rewind.
And here's my theory on mixing, because I mixed it, Mitch, volume 1 and 2, Jeremy. I mixed everything by myself in this room.
Wow.
Because I didn't want anybody coming down here and giving me the cootie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trapped down here. I'm mixing it all. And my theory of mixing is simple. This is for all you musicians out there and would-be producers and engineers. I see people giving tutorials on YouTube on how to do this, that, and the other thing. Mixing this is what it is, the definition. It's 20 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag.
Yeah.
That's it. You got to figure out how to do that. And if you want something, here's the second rule. If you want something to sound better make it the loudest. That's mixing. There it is. You got to take, because you can have I'm working with a guy right now who's doing this album. I'm just peripheral. He's got 240 tracks. I thought, oh my God, this is what my theory is. If you need more than, if it's not orchestral music, it's rock music. If you need more than 48 tracks, write a new song.
Mutt Lang would disagree.
Well, Mutt knows what he's doing. Who can argue with that guy?
True.
Yeah. No, he knows what he's doing. I just disagree.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a lot. You run out of faders at that point.
If Hysteria is like model for that style, I get it. But you know what? I always thought, and I'm in the minority, I always thought Def Leppard would sound better if they weren't so over-processed. That's my thought. I mean, I had good songs, good singing and playing, and it's all this. Hey, okay.
I agree. I think Def Leppard's High and Dry is a better album than everything afterwards.
I only know what I hear on the radio, but I'm thinking, okay, that's all effects, and they don't sound like they need it. Now, some effects are good, like the effect I'm having on you right now. Anyway.
Yeah, but on Hysteria, it's really just the good songs with big guitars and big drums. Okay, there's an argument for the overprocess. I could pull a little bit of that saturation on the snare back a little bit, but in reality, the bones of the sound, it's the song. And okay, there's a lot of guitar parts going on, but it all just elevates the song, I think.
I know you do. And listen, am I supposed to argue with their sales? You're just asking my opinion. Who am I? I'm an accordion player who was Beatle dreaming. What the hell do I know? Yeah. But for me, it's like a beautiful woman with way too much makeup. You could take that stuff off and man, you'd still be beautiful. And that's what I think about Def Leppard. Now they're going to sue me for plagiarism because I stole all their, no, I didn't steal nothing.
All their tracks, yeah. all their, no, listen.
At the end of the day, a good woman's a good woman when the lights are out. So
I'm going to write that down. Honey, there's a kid in here telling me what I should do with you.
All I need is a crease.
We've been, that's a hockey fan. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyways, well, listen, we've taken way too much of your time today. Brand new album, June 11th. Make sure you get it. It's available wherever music is sold. And get the LP, 180-gram gatefold. It's going to be awesome. It's color.
Well, I got to say one last thing. May 11, Mitch, May 11. What
do we got?
Releasing Last Guitar Hero
as a single.
Yeah, put a video. What is a single? I don't even know what that means.
That's a video.
Put it on a video prior to the album. And Tom Morello
is going to be in the video.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't ask me about Tom Morello.
Well, we could.
Yeah, we were gonna ask you about Tom Morello, but we weren't sure if you wanted to talk about Tom. So now you can talk all about Tom if you want.
Great guitar player.
I just did his podcast. Here's how it happens. I'm at an Adam Sandler party, and Adam brings, it's not small, 2,000 people. It's a Christmas shindig. He does Hanukkah, Christmas. So Adam, he's a fan. I want to sing 3 songs. I go out there with their band. They have an all-star band.
Yeah.
And I sing, and I don't suck. So my guitar player, August, was talking to Tom, and he says, this is what August tells me. He said, you want to meet Dennis DeYoung? He said, absolutely. I think Tom Morello wants to meet me. Okay. So anyway, he comes up and we start talking. Sure enough, he's from Libertyville, Illinois, which is just outside Chicago. And he told me about being a fan. And, he was heavy metal and hard rock first. And then as he got older, got to appreciate Styx. He came to see the Paradise Theater tour and the Kilroy tour. And I went, wow, how about that? So it was a lovely thing. He's a lovely guy. And as I told my son back in the 90s when he was inundating me with all his music, he said, what do you think of these guys, Dad? I said, well, I got a good, Rage Against the Machine. I said, they got a good keyboard player. He said, that's not that's a guitar. I said, it is not. And I looked and I went, so I named him the Great Houdini at that point.
Yeah.
So So anyway, I write this song with Peter. Peter comes up with this riff, and we write it out, and I sing it, and we write the lyrics, which is a song essentially about technology replacing people, not just about guitar players. It's all woven into one piece.
Yeah.
And I think, who is the last guitar hero? Who's the last one? I know who the first one's in. They're dead. Well, Clapton's alive, Page is alive, but if I call them, I don't think they're picking it up. So I said, hey, I said to my son, what do you think? He says, Tom Morello. And I go, yeah, okay. So I think, what have I got to lose? I email him. I say, hey, Tom, remember me? He says, vaguely. No, he didn't say that. So he said, send me the song. Because I think he's thinking, what's he going to ask me to do? Play Babe? Anyway, I sent him the song. He said, absolutely love this. So he just did it. That was it. Send him back to me. And that guitar solo.
Song is smoking. Smoking.
Yeah. And it sounds like Tom Morello. It's got the keyboard.
Here's what Tom said when I said I played it for a bunch of people. And they said, that sounds like Tom Morello. I said, it is. And they went like this. Why the hell is he playing on your record? Anyway, none of those people, Mitch, I said, lose my number. I don't want to talk to him. Anyway, yeah, he played it. When I first heard it, I went, the Great Houdini. The Great Houdini has just arrived in Libertyville, Illinois, from apparently Venus. He flew in, because you hear it and you go, who else is that?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my Tom Morello story. It comes out on the 11th of May. Album is the 11th of June. And the song is, that's to surprise some people, because they think, oh, that Dennis, he's going to sing, he's going to try to sing Best of Times and annoy us. Anyway.
Is there a stigma around that in your career? Like, people just kind of think of you as the lady guy, or
it's the babe guy.
The babe.
Yeah, you can be a victim of your successes, because it's like when you like somebody, and you pretty much everything you hear of them is of a certain nature, at least on top 40 radio. Because like I told you, Jeremy, lean in here, they don't want no stinking loud guitars on that stuff. So, okay, so there I am. I'm appealing to the pop sensibilities in the audience and to the AC crowd, because I've been married 50 years, 51. I love the woman that I married. We're still together. I've had love in my life. I can write about it. So, but really, I'm the guy that wrote Grand Illusion.
Yeah.
I'm that guy who wrote Castle Walls and on Sweet Madam Blue, on and on and on. Just because I can do that doesn't mean I can't do that. And Mitch, you know me. I know your relationship with my former colleagues. The stuff they tried to say about me just wasn't true. They just needed to come up with a good story as to why they replaced a sick guy in their band.
Right.
So the fact is, a lot of this stuff on this record was me just going back and saying, like, Isla Misanthrope, that's me. That's Sweet Madam Blue updated for today, and of course I can do that. But when you become known for something, Jeremy, you can be the victim of your own successes. But let me just tell you, it's better to be the victim of your success, Mitch, than to be the victim of your failure. Nobody gives a crap about that. Yeah. So I accept it, that certain people will see me a certain way, and life is too short for me to worry about them. I'm just trying to make good songs for people who like good music. And beyond that, I know nothing.
Yep. And if I'll just quickly relate a story that Doug Fieger of the Knack told me. I said, Doug, my Sharona. And he said, Mitch, it was the golden albatross. He says, I'm sitting here and you can see the pool and the house and the cars. It bought me all of that. However, every time I went into the record company, they would listen to the new music and they'd say, we don't hear another My Sharona. Start again. And he goes, but you know what? The pool, the house, and the cars. It's my golden albatross.
Here's what people will say to you at a record company. You know what this album needs? Another Come Sail Away. You know what I used to say? No shit.
Yeah.
No, On the other hand, I wrote that. It's I did that already. You know, if I try to make another, see, when I was writing Come Sail Away, guess what I wasn't trying to do? I wasn't trying to write Come Sail Away. I just wrote it. If you try to write something, it's going to be a Polaroid thing.
Yeah.
That's where you just got to go, give me something, you know, somebody, you over there, jump up and down, give me a new idea. And that's it. You're just trying to make stuff up. That's all.
Yeah. And by the way, that's what happened with the rock scene in the 80s going into the 90s. They all started trying to replicate the power ballad. And by the time you got to 91, 92, you just went, enough of this. Stop with the Xeroxing of power ballads. And then
you know what? I don't know why, Jeremy. Jeremy, back to you. You want to know why they did that?
Why?
Because they wanted to get on pop. They want to get on top 40 radio.
Yeah.
They knew the rock stuff was going to be like you get.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, as a guitar player, I'm a big fan of the guitar player named Dan Huff, who's one of the big, you know, country producers now.
About you.
Yeah, you know, so when he was in Giant in the late 80s, like early 90s, but he was also a big session guy. He did this video tutorial thing that I was watching, and he was talking about how to kind of orchestrate guitar parts. And he's like, you know, this song, it calls for the brown, down, but the record label producers say we need something in there to make it too rock. It needs to be a little more pop. So you slap on the clean tone with the tri-chorus, and you put in a little jangly, like just to make it sound a little less aggressive. And I'm like, but
you know what they're telling you? I know what they're telling you. We don't want to disturb our female demo.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah, exactly what it is.
They always, we don't want to scare.
That's funny.
We don't want to scare the girls away. And I think to myself, I think girls will like anything that's really good. You know, yes. I mean, there are certain people go, ooh, I'm offended. What are you going to do? You can't please everybody.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that, because his program director is always talking about Jennifer, the Jennifers out there. Right?
Yeah.
The Jennifers need to listen to this. And it's like, think of Jennifer when you're doing your interview. Think of Jennifer when you're putting it together.
Okay, so Jeremy, you have 20 seconds to talk here. Is every word you say relatable to Jennifer? Does Jennifer benefit? Is her life made a little easier by what you're about to say to her? Like, it's
and not the goth Jennifer. She's a different thing.
Yeah, different one. Different one.
There we go. There we go.
The one with the bone in her nose, that's another demo.
Yeah, that's a totally different one. But no, it's interesting to talk to you about that, because it's like, you know, Mitch and I, we talk about this often, where I can relate to it a little bit, where there's like a stigma around, say, your brand, because a lot of people know me as the long-haired rock guy. Well, I just cut my hair, but I'm on the Pop Top 40 station. So people are like, well, shouldn't you be on a rock station? I'm like, well, no, I'm a fan of music. And then when I started this podcast outside of the station, you know, I want to talk to Dennis DeYoung, but I also want to talk to Shania Twain, and I want to talk to, Gene Simmons, and I want to talk to Lady Gaga or Keith Urban.
And Desmond Child and stuff.
You know, people that I'm just a fan of. But then you go to publicists or labels, and they're like, oh, well, you had Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley on your show. That's not good. That's not a good fit for our artist. I'm like, but I'm just trying to cater to people that like good music that I'm also a fan of. So wouldn't you want your artist to be exposed?
To branch out.
Wouldn't you want to reach as many people as you possibly can? But there's still this old school mentality of like, oh no, you're this, you have to stay on brand. It's that's what it is. And that we can't go out of our lane.
The people you're talking about are their number one concern, as we have already discussed, is selling washing machines or beer, or whatever it is, you know, auto insurance. And we have to respect those guys a little bit, because they're trying to keep their phony baloney jobs, as we all are. And, you know, artists, whatever that means, it's our job to try to create things and not try to fit a mold. You know, we just try to create new and interesting things that interest us.
Yeah.
And it's guys like you who, if without you, you tell the world, guys, you know what your job is? You go like this. Hey, did you know this existed? That's what you do. Did you have any idea this was there? And that's what you do.
Yeah.
All the time trying to fight the guys whose job has nothing to do with, did you know this was here? And it was just, air conditioners are on sale at Best Buy. This is the way the world works. And you and I, Jeremy, no matter how old and young you are, the two of us, we better get on that train and not get in front of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, it's the way it's always been from an old guy. Things have not really changed except for there is no more rock radio for the most part.
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
Anyway,
Dennis, you've
There we
said it
go.
all. You've said it all, my friend.
Thank you. This isn't live, is it?
no. This is going to be
Yeah, we'll edit this. It'll be 18 seconds.
Yep. Perfect.
no.
Now